Morning. We survived the rainstorm.
Some of us did.
Some of us did.
Rick was in the truck all day.
I was in the truck. Yeah, yesterday we got home and unloaded in the rain. Beating the rain, I guess we should say. We got the structure into the shop to get painted up, and Ethan got soaked in the process. Then we had to go toss a snapping turtle out of the yard because it was attacking my dogs, basically, because my dogs would run up to it and sniff it, and I didn't feel like dealing with a vet bill, so we had to remove him out of the fence. I know Ethan unscrewed that lid before he got all this cement mixed up. Or did we just mix a bunch of cement up without unscrewing that lid?
Yeah.
What is it, Ethan? Huh?
It's my second day, that's why.
So we're gonna need to clean that off real quick, and we hope Mr. Furnace isn't running late, because we got some rapid cement mixed up and we're about to burn through some concrete. We've been looking at getting a service truck because my 1-ton pickup has turned into a full-blown service truck now. This is getting out of hand and getting bad, but we're busy as could be. Bryan's got the pump truck, which is one, and it's a pump truck. Ethan's, look at that sewage camera from yesterday. We were cameraing, I'm sure the guys just wiped that off and tossed that in there. It's nice and clean. I'm gonna have to...
You could have done it.
I guess we could have done it. Ethan was complaining today about the misty rain already this morning.
It's already started. We don't get rain days.
What are you talking about? We don't get rain days.
Yeah. You bought us raincoats.
I got you raincoats?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really stop too much, do we?
Oh, you do. We don't.
So, Ethan, why don't you tell me where we're at in this process?
So Rick did not bring a screw gun.
Rick didn't bring a screw gun.
We have cement made, but the lid's still screwed on.
I was getting everything out of the truck, and you went full.
You left to get the truck ready.
Ethan went full send on making a bunch of rapid cement so we could seal the inside to make sure this. And
but Rick didn't do his part and load the truck.
This is our current situation. And now we're just sitting here waiting for Bryan, which is about 6 minutes away, and I don't know if you have 6 minutes worth of time with that mud.
We're gonna make it work.
I guess you better get a water bottle and keep adding a little bit in and keeping it wet as it's setting up. Yeah.
It's pretty wet still.
It's pretty wet for what? How long?
Like 3 minutes.
3 minutes. This is the struggle of trying to find good help. It's real. We started at 8 o'clock today on the job. We went shopping by 7:30. Furnace is supposed to be here by 8 o'clock, and he's not. He's typical. Bryan's just never on time. Bryan doesn't stay late. It goes back to Bryan not wanting to get his CDL. Bryan, it's just Bryan. Ethan, do you got anything you need to get off your chest about Mr. Furnace? Is there anything you need to say or comment of his work ethic?
I mean, he's always in the machine.
Yeah.
He never stays late. He's always home early while the rest of us work.
Yeah. When it's time to get down to the last little bit of the job.
Right.
He's always gone.
Wants to help, yeah.
Or he's like, I gotta go to the office, and yeah, he's got to call. He's got to make a call. If you guys only knew what it was like to work with Bryan on a day-to-day basis, what you guys see on the video versus reality sometimes is completely different. So There's his mud. What kind of mixture are you looking for there, Mr. Rowe?
Just like that.
Just like that. And that's only about a 3-minute set before that keeps going, so he'll have to keep mixing it up and keep a little water in it, because that stuff will just harden right up pretty instantly. It's rapid cement, so it's fast setting. Hydraulic cement, we use that sometimes when we're dealing with a bunch of water. That stuff's pretty wicked. Once Furnace actually shows up and gets working, we'll try to record that, because that's like a rare occasion when you get them on the phone.
Yeah, you never see that.
Yeah, you never see it. All right, guys. There he is.
20 minutes later, I'm still mixing.
20 minutes. Look at him. Look at him pulling in like NASCAR. Look at those NASCAR moves.
He's trying to act like he's all busy.
Look at him.
We know
coming
he
in
was
hot.
sitting at home.
Look at him coming in hot.
Just pretending he was busy.
Yeah.
Like always.
Yeah. Hollywood's here. Fame and fortune. So, saving grace. All right. We'll grab the screw gun from him.
So as you can see, it's raining. There's Ethan. I'm talking into the camera, but where's Rick? Let's see if Ethan knows. Hey Ethan.
Yeah.
Where's Rick right now?
Do what?
Where's Rick right now?
Where's Rick? Oh,
Yeah.
he's in the AC at home.
What was his excuse for having to leave?
Oh, he had a meeting.
He had a meeting, right?
Like always.
Yeah. Rick always has a meeting. Anytime it gets hot on the job, anytime it starts to rain, anytime we open up a tank that's just raunchy, Rick's got a meeting. So that's where we're at. We're getting rained on, and Rick's at a meeting.
Hey guys, I've been hibernating in the truck actually all morning.
Rick's been
after
avoiding
Furnace-
work is what's happening.
Yeah, after Furnace got here, him and Ethan took over. I had a meeting with a future customer. Actually, Bryan always thinks it's just to dodge the rain, but that's what keeps everything going.
How long was he gone, Ethan? Like 10 minutes? Just enough to go up to the gas station, get some coffee?
This is what it's about, guys. We just sit here and talk all day long and have fun. So what we got going on here, Bryan, if you want to describe what you're doing right this moment.
Basically, the old wiring was totally shot. The old pump was shot. So we ripped out the existing 4x4 that they had stubbed up so that I could reroute the wires into a new junction box inside. And so now what I'm doing is actually getting the pump and the floats all wired up so that everything will be live here in just a minute.
Ethan's working on the floats right now.
Yep, he's getting floats taped on, or not taped on, zip tied on so that they'll be at the right levels. So we're, I don't know, 15 minutes out from doing a test. And if it's successful, we're good.
And how those floats work, Ethan, if you want to give us a little demonstration.
See what you learn.
So the water will make them to float, and once these are flipped up, it'll kick on the pump.
Yeah.
Water will shoot out into the...
And why do you got two floats here, Ethan?
This is to turn the pump on and off.
Let's turn the pump on and off.
This is the emergency float, so if the pump fails, the water will come up to this.
So the emergency, what's the point of the emergency float if that one kicks on?
It causes the alarm to go off. So you'll know
Clips the alarm.
something's wrong.
And something's wrong.
Something is awry.
Something is right. And what kind of floats are those, Bryan?
Basically, I don't know what they're called, but essentially what happens is you've got a metal contactor in here at the base, and there's a ball bearing in here. And so as this floats, you hear that ball bearing, it rolls back and hits that contactor and closes the circuit. And then as soon as the float goes back down, the ball bearing rolls away from the contactor and it no longer closes the circuit. So totally manual. It's no
Totally
electronics.
Mechanical, totally manual. We're gonna actually come back, fix this. What was a diverter valve from another company that hacked the system that shouldn't have been done. But it is what it is. That's what keeps us employed and keeps us going. We're not gonna do it anymore today just so we don't make a bunch of mud. We're gonna bust out a few more jobs. Bryan's gonna run back and mess with the GPS today, and I'm sure he'll keep you along. Ethan and I are going to put out a bunch of bull crap fires. So,
Well, Rick managed to get out of the truck for a whopping like 7 minutes at the very end so he could take full credit for the job. Let me show you what we got. So that's it. We basically took the electrical that was already stubbed up there, came into our junction box. That's all watertight. That's where all of our cabling happens. Then it goes in, replace the pump, got that all put together, tested. When they poop, it goes to the field now. The pump runs and it's all good. And where's Rick? Yeah, that's where he's been all day. Now we are back to the house and I'm gonna go dink around with the skid steer because we have recently kind of teamed up with Unicontrol, which is a machine control company, and they hooked us up with the system, and Level Best came together with them. They hooked us up with a blade, and so I have to go make that work because I am the tech guy of our crew. So I've got to install a SIM card in it so that it will talk to the cell network, and then I've got to call the guy from Unicontrol so that we can actually get it to communicate with the network, and then we'll play around with it. So a lot of people, especially in the smaller contractor space, get intimidated by GPS and think it's like super complicated to set up, and GPS is really not that big of a deal. Yes, it's intimidating because it's technology and we don't like technology in our space, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that bad once you kind of get a handle on it. It's like learning a new machine. You know, at first you don't have a clue what's going on, you got to get your feet under you, but once you do, it's really not that big of a deal. So for this skid steer, I've got a tablet that I just threw in the cab there. That connects via Bluetooth to my little globes here. And so there's no wires that need to be run. The only connections you see going to the machine right now, we've got our auxiliary hydraulics along with our, what is it, 13 or 14 pin connector, I don't remember. And then over here we have a little touchpad that is specific to the Level Best blade that lets you do side shift, rotation, and everything. And so that's what that line over there is for. So none of that actually is related to GPS. That's all having to do with the Level Best blade. What I'm doing right now is the actual GPS component. And so I've got these little pucks. I'm just gonna screw these guys into the bottom of my globe here. And by the way, these globes, these are not the brains of the operation. The brains of the operation is actually right here. So if you knock one of these globes off in the woods or in the trees, guess what? You're only out $300. It's not that big of a deal. So once I get that hooked up, I'm just gonna crank that guy down so it's not going anywhere. I have one connection. Oh, and I always, yeah, one connection. And I just screw that in. It's like plugging in your TV. It's a coax looking cable and it just plugs in just like you would your TV. And guess what? For the left side of the machine, it's done. Now we're gonna come over here and do the right side. So I'm learning, as you always do with this stuff, I'm learning it's easier if you hook your little coax cable up first, just because your fingers aren't fighting all the stuff going on there. But at the same time, even if you do it after the fact, as you saw in that one, it's not that big of a deal. So don't be scared. Don't be scared of taking on machine control. There's our connection into the globe. I already loosened this guy up so I can pop him out. He's just gonna screw right in. No big deal. And this will sit right up here. And then I just tighten this guy down. That's it. All I gotta do is go in, turn the tablet on. It will automatically Bluetooth connect to these guys. Technically what it's Bluetooth connecting to is, this is a router down here at the bottom. And then on top of that is the actual brains of the GPS system. What it's technically Bluetoothing to is the router, and the router is pulling in all of this information, sending it to the tablet. So all I've got to do is fire the machine up and turn my tablet on and get into the app, and GPS is now live. Now that's assuming you've got a site plan. We'll get into all of the complexities as we kind of further. We're going to slowly introduce you guys into the world of machine control for some of you smaller contractors that haven't ever dealt with it. I will just say this as an overview. Don't let it scare you off as being super intimidating, super advanced, like you need to go get an engineering degree for it. It's really not that complicated, especially if you're doing a lot of in-field design stuff. It's really not that bad. So I've got it all hooked up now. Now what I'm gonna do is I have to put a SIM card into this router so that it will talk to the AT&T network. I'm gonna go do that off camera because there's no sense in you guys watching me do that. And then I'm gonna have to get on the horn, and the most lengthy part of this is talking with the guys from Unit Control to change settings within the router so that it will communicate with the AT&T network. And that should, in theory, get this sucker online to where we can start laying down some grade with it. So that's what I'm gonna go work on. So I will give you guys an update later on this afternoon, hopefully when this thing's running as it should. So this must be what it's like to be Rick. Just sit in your truck, pretend to be working, which I'm totally working. I'm playing on a tablet. That's totally work related. And then everybody else is out on a job right now, but here I am sitting in the truck, enjoying this quiet, peaceful time playing on the tablet. This is 100% what Rick does every time. When he's got a meeting, yeah. I've got a meeting now, Rick. This is a meeting. It's very important. I can't possibly show up on the job site because this meeting is so important. Just a little glimpse into the life of Rick Valco. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it is. Well, good morning, guys. So, Rick and the boys have already been up for, I don't know, what time did you guys get here, Matt?
Here?
Yeah.
About 6.
6 o'clock. And it is currently 7:43. And like Rick the Dick Valco normally does, I'm just now rolling in, enjoying my delicious iced mocha with extra whipped cream so that I could swoop in at the very last minute. They just finished a pour for a concrete pad and some stairs, and I was able to time it out perfectly to where as soon as the pour was done, I could swoop in, take credit for the whole project, tell everyone they had done a good job. Now we are headed out to the pump chamber job that you guys saw set the tank on here a couple days ago. We are gonna go get that wired up and prepped so that all we have to do is put a field in. Okay, so we're here on site. I was gonna show you guys really quick. They have this lovely koi pond. Look at this. And they're giant koi. Like, these are really, really nice koi. And I can tell you there's nothing more relaxing in the morning than checking out some sweet koi fish with the smell of poo gently wafting across the breeze. Because, you know, we have an open poo pit right here, and it's great. So today's agenda, number one, this is the septic tank here. That's the new pump chamber we set. So we're gonna tie those together with a couple sticks of 4-inch pipe. And then what we're gonna do is we have to actually put in the electrical for the pump that's gonna go in that chamber right there. So Matt and I are going to trench from the control panel on the side of the building across the yard over to here. In theory, Rick and Ethan should be here in the next like 45 minutes to an hour. And they're gonna drop us off a riser. So we'll install a riser on there, put a junction box on it like we did at the last job. Our conduit will tie into that, we'll run electrical into it, and then we'll have 2-inch pipe that we can actually run into the tank, get all of that plumbed up. So in theory, by the time we end today, this will be ready to just tie onto with the field, and we will be all set. So that's what we're gonna start in on. We're gonna go jump in the hoe really quick. We'll dig in this conduit. While Matt is running the conduit and the wire out to the tank, I'm gonna go into the barn, and I got everything right to the point where all I need to do is tie into the panel. So I'll work on tying into the panel while he's running the conduit out here. And hopefully it will be a decently early day today, but we'll see what happens. You know, who knows what's gonna break free. Well, we've been at it for an hour and a half, roughly. Thought I'd give you a status update here. So if we go in, panel's totally done and put back together. Here's our new breaker, which is currently off because we're still out there working. Everything comes into our control panel here. So we've got power coming in. The reason we had to wire nut this is because the terminals on this guy aren't big enough for the number 8 wire we're using. And we're using number 8 wire because of voltage drop. If you don't know what that is, go watch some electrical videos. But essentially, we don't need number 8 wire because of the load that's running. We just need it because we wanna minimize resistance because it's such a long run of wire. So all that to say, we've pigtailed number 12 wire so that we can reach into the terminals, and then everything else is gonna be that number 8, so we have super low resistance. So power coming in, That goes to this terminal block over here on the right. In the middle is our pump out. And on the left here, we have our alarm going out. These are all our wires going out. We've got everything duct sealed. And the reason you do that is because this conduit at the end of the run is tied into the actual tank. And the gases that are inside that tank are kind of corrosive. And so if they waft up through the conduit into your control panel, it can prematurely wear things out. And so we put that duct seal in there just to stop any airflow, try to minimize any humidity and moisture backing up into the control panel. It's just yet another step we take to make sure that the product's going to be good for the customer. We've got all of our conduit run out to the tank here. We are stubbed up. Rick and Ethan should be here in the next, I don't know, half hour to 40 minutes. They're going to bring a riser. Once the riser goes on the tank, that will allow us to mount our little junction box. Then we'll work on getting that tied into the junction box. We'll drop the pump down in there, get it all wired and plumbed, and then we will get the tank plumbed into the pump chamber. In the meantime, while we're waiting, we're gonna run back here, and because this is an engineered field, we have to scarify that, which basically means peel off the vegetation, fluff the dirt up, and then they have to come inspect that before we do anything else. Well, good morning, everyone. We are on the very prestigious Versailles Drive here in some ridiculously swanky neighborhood on a ridiculously swanky golf course. And today we will be digging up water line for a replacement. Yes, this is it's exactly the kind of neighborhood that you would not expect to see Rick the Dick Valco, the Renaissance man, in, nor our long hair hippied laborer, Mr. Matt. And yet here we are. And let's be honest, I don't really strike you as a man of culture, do I? But here we are in our neighborhood doing a nice little dig up. Rick has been on the job this morning with Matt here getting it started. Look at there, look at there. So that's what we got going on. I don't know what he's talking to him about. I just walked up here, but that's essentially what we got going on. Is we're doing a water line replacement. They're digging down to it right now. I have been back at the house trying to get our skid steer blade online, and it is officially online. So we had some funkiness going on due to the way the modem that they sent to us, or the router, was communicating with the machine, and technology never stops being cool. I was going back and forth on WhatsApp with a guy from Denmark who remote tapped into my machine and then was controlling it from Denmark, which, that's awesome. But anyway, they got us all fixed up, took all of like 15-20 minutes, and so that is why I am late arriving to the job this morning. So we are going to get this water line jammed out, and hopefully, if all goes well, we'll be out of here by like noon. Good God, we need to fix the squeaky belt on that excavator. But hopefully we'll be out of here by noonish, and then I think we've got another job we're gonna run over to, kind of do some prep work for Monday. And maybe, I don't know. Every time I say maybe it's gonna be an early day, Rick's like, oh no, we got another thing we gotta go do, and it ends up being like 7:30. So we'll see what happens.
Jake, find any more pipe?
So I just walked up here. It's been 30 seconds and Rick's already getting out of the machine so I can find my groove.
I gotta go get a belt.
He's going shopping
for a wedding.
Yes.
So I'm gonna ditch you.
You got a meeting?
Yeah.
I
got a meeting at noon though. So I'm going to bug out by 2.
It's a 2-wheel meeting? 2 wheels?
It's a one-handed meeting. I'm on my own.
Oh.
Yeah. So, all right, get digging.
So as you can see over my shoulder behind me, we have a giant pile of dirt. And unfortunately, that's all you're gonna see of this job, because it's not the safest hole in the world, and I don't wanna have to deal with all of the armchair OSHA inspectors that YouTube has to offer up. And I do appreciate you guys, don't get me wrong. I can't tell you how much I value the opinions of a bunch of people who have never done excavating in their life trying to tell us when we're safe and not safe. It's really impactful and meaningful. But one thing I did want to talk to you guys about is water in an excavation. Why is it something we need to worry about in the excavating world for those of you who aren't experienced? And the answer is very simple. It's yucky toes. No one in the excavating industry likes yucky toes. And so as soon as we have water in the hole, we're going to do everything we can to get that water out of the hole. It creates a dangerous situation. Have you ever heard of trench foot? I mean, guys in World War II dealt with it all the time. Vietnam, you get trench foot, and that's It's a dangerous situation, not to mention it's just gross. No one wants mud squishing between their toes in their work boots. It's nasty. But on a serious note, the reason we have to worry about water in an excavation and the reason we are concerned about water being in this trench is because what happens is water, if you've ever watched it with sand or dirt or anything, it tends to liquefy the dirt. If there's enough water that it saturates the dirt, it liquefies it. And so when you have standing water in the bottom of a trench, it doesn't necessarily look like anything's happening. But actually what's happening is that water is seeping into the banks on each side of that excavation, and it's starting to liquefy a little bit of that dirt. But it's really not anything you're gonna notice unless you're really paying attention to it for the most part. If there's a ton of water, you'll notice it a little bit, but a little bit of water, a couple inches in the bottom, you're not really gonna pay attention to it. But what's happening is it's slowly undermining into the bank in a way that you can't really see. And now you have, you know, 1,200, 1,500 to 2,500 pounds of dirt that's all suspended, and it's hanging on the side of your trench with nothing supporting it on the underside because that water has worked its way into the bank. And next thing you know, boom, you know, a 6 inch to 1 foot slab of clay comes caving into the trench on top of you. So that's why we worry about water in excavations. That's why water mitigation is such a critical part of what we do if we do encounter water. Is because that will very quickly make a pretty safe trench very dangerous. So we're gonna go try to wrap this up and finish it out. We've got the water line totally exposed. Plumbers are inside getting everything prepped. They're gonna cut the old water line. We'll run a new water line in that's gonna be poly. The old existing line was copper. And we did, by the way, find the source of the break. The installers, when they brought that water line under the footer of the basement, they literally just yanked up and crimped it to get their, you know, straight up and down connection. It's always fun coming behind someone and fixing their mistakes because they just didn't care about their job. So we're gonna pull that old copper line, reinstall a poly line, get that hooked up. I'm gonna assume within the next 2 hours we will have this buttoned up and we will be on down the road to go tear down a fence or something silly like that. So that being said, that's probably all for this job that you're gonna see, and we'll catch you on the fence tear down. See ya.
So we finally made it. This is where we got to do a perk test out in here. What are you thinking, Ethan?
I guess we take out from this post to that third one down there.
Okay.
Unless you think 2 is enough.
No, this is poison ivy. No.
Nah.
There's Matt. Looking terrified as normal. What happened today? Why didn't you end up taking your test?
I got there and their testing computers were down. And she said they've been down since Tuesday.
You got to get your permit, though.
I'm trying.
So when are you going to test?
I'm testing next Friday.
Are we going to pass?
Yeah, I'm going to pass. I would have passed today and had my permit, but...
I like the confidence.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
We're going to pass this time, right?
Yeah, I'll pass.
The anticipation's just...
I passed the hardest one.
You passing's just building up.
Yeah.
So we're going to gain access through here. We're going to end up mulching the trail from the other road over there, so we can gain access right through here and get us a perk test. So these guys are going to get started. We'll go see my stylist, go get my hair cut. I've been playing hooky all day.
Yeah, we're working.
While you're working.
Yeah.
So this is where we're at. We're in the holding pattern on the job. Well, you tell us, Ethan, what's going on over there?
We're waiting for Rick to get back from his meetings.
Waiting for Rick to get back from his meetings. And then the plumbers were waiting for the vac truck to show up.
Yeah.
Why are we waiting for the vac truck?
Because it's all clay right under where we need to dig.
And it sucks.
It sucks.
Yes. So that is kind of the status update of where we're at. We're in a holding pattern. And mostly at this point we're waiting on the plumbers. We're not really waiting on Rick. The plumbers have got to get that vac truck over here because, I don't know, you guys plucked away at it for what? 20 minutes?
Yeah.
And made about 6 inches. Oh, speak of the devil.
Is that Rick?
Who do we have? What's happening?
How's it
It's going good. How about you?
good? I just got good news. The vegetation strip we did yesterday on the job just passed.
Oh, nice.
So
How was your meeting?
good. It went well, Brian.
What was this one for?
Well, actually, it was a meeting with Garrett from Water's Edge. We went to lunch at Coney Island.
So what kind of business was discussed at Coney Island with Garrett from Water? By the way, everyone, Garrett from Water's Edge is a buddy. This is not a business acquaintance. It's an acquaintance that owns a business.
Yeah, actually, it was good. We were just catching up.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, when I left the job there, Garrett was right around the corner from us. So I talked to him all the way, and we went to lunch at Coney Island. So, but yeah.
So he left us to work so he could go out for lunch with the buddy.
You remember he let me get my groove before he took off?
I remember,
yeah. So he could make his meeting.
Right.
And now what do you have? Shopping? Shopping's on the agenda now, Rick?
Still gotta get my hair cut here in about a half hour, and then I gotta pick up a bell.
What's his nickname for me? I forget.
Ritz?
Yeah. You remember what he's constantly calling me?
I don't remember.
What do you call me, Rick? In Hollywood? I feel like
yeah.
Hollywood is the...
Hollywood.
Yeah. And who's out here working while the other guy's out shopping for suits and getting
That's
haircuts and...
Hey, this is the part of business that people don't see. This is what keeps the wheels on the wagon going around,
Him
okay?
going shopping. That's
Him
what
going
keeps it going.
shopping and getting haircuts is what keeps the wheels on the wagon. It's that the dashing good looks is what keeps business coming in the door.
Exactly.
I set you guys up with 2 good laborers today.
Thanks,
Bryan.
Rick.
You got it today.
Thanks.
And then I failed.
Yeah, exactly. Appreciate that.
No, it was cool. Garrett's actually overwhelmed this year with a bunch of dock installs, seawalls, and then this fall, October, he actually wanted to see if we could come out and run a barge yanking lifts out of the water.
Oh, hell yeah. That'll be a good time.
Yeah, that's going to be phenomenal as we just crash into everybody's dock because we never run a boat on the water like that.
I'm going to wear my shorty short swimsuit.
In your toe shoes.
Yeah, and my toe shoes.
Actually,
Got to
I
grip the
think
deck.
I'll let the toe shoes fly on that one.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
It's going to be out there in a little dinky life jacket, my floaties, and my little shorty shorts.
Yeah, I'm gonna role play as Popeye.
No, you won't. You'll have more meetings.
Hey, Ethan.
Yeah.
You're catching on. Shut up.
I left the boys a little bit earlier today for my 12 o'clock meeting that I had to make, and
Very important meeting.
here's my meeting. For some of you that don't know, that's Garrett
Hello,
from Water's
everybody.
Edge. Check them out. What's your business link?
To what?
Just what you do. Water's Edge.
Water's Edge Dock and Hoist.
Water's Edge,
Dock and Hoist
in Michigan.
in Michigan.
So that was my 12 o'clock meeting today. I left Bryan and them for. This was,
You need a haircut now.
I do. This is my meeting. But realistically, Garrett, why did we have our meeting today? What was the phone call for? The and then this fall you need some help.
Oh yeah, we need some help for boat lift removals. We're gonna teach this guy how to run a barge.
So he's a little overwhelmed this year with what he's got going on. So we're going to drag the crew out when? What month are we doing all this crazy?
October.
October.
I'll have about a dozen or so for you to remove, and I need them done in one day.
We'll see if we can make that happen. So follow along. Garrett's got a YouTube channel that's coming along here in a little bit.
Mhm.
You're just in the content creation mode right now.
Yep.
And I still got to get a haircut. And we will see how Bryan responds to this video when this one comes out. Well, I'm on the way to go meet the boys. We just shifted gears. Yeah, just a little bit longer for I got to make a haircut appointment. But got Ethan and Matt running over, trying to have an early day. Everyone's just been putting in the hours nonstop. So got the fair going on. The boys would like to go live a little bit of life instead of just work every day, day in, day out. Completely understandable. So we got a perk test next week. We gained access through the backyard from the builder that owns the vacant lot. We're going to do a little exchange for access with a little bit of forestry mulching, probably an hour's worth, just to gain some access, clean up his lot a little. But that being said, we got 2 fences that need to come down, so we're going to come up with a game plan here in just a couple minutes and get the boys ripping and tearing that apart down so we could gain some access, and then be set up next week for the perk test and which is Thursday, and then get the mulching done hopefully on Monday. Regroup, circle back, and get that pressurized field that just passed with inspection from the health department. Get that one wrapped up by next Friday and get them back up live. So got our hands full at the minute, and a lot of customers with septic issues.